Cultivating engagement and learning through gamification in learning, training, and programs. Ms. Anshul Verma, co-founder and executive director of Rohi Global Consulting India Private Limited, with over 2 decades of experience in talent management, learning and development, and coaching. Ms. Anshul Verma is a versatile leader skilled in driving business transformation globally. Her background includes an MBA from Scratch Dial, Business School, UK, and multiple certifications. For Ms. Anshul Verma.
All right, we are always friendly. So today my topic is very interesting, and I've been sitting out there and some of the questions that the speakers have been asking about skilling and upskilling and jobs getting redundant, all the things that we don't want to hear. So I think I took up this topic of gamification. I thought I'll lighten the mood after lunch. So let me start with a question. And let's see how many of us are L&D and talent OD folks here? Or all of you are you? So just raise your hands, the proud creed that we are, not always appreciated for what we do, but we believe we make a difference, and we believe that we are these nice people on the back end who are quietly working to build the culture, to build the talent, but sometimes someone else gets the praises, and we're okay with it, right? So kudos to each one of you who comes from that fraternity, because I have served that fraternity for total 25 years, about 18 years have been in talent OD and learning. So just a question which I thought I should ask, just to see we're all awake. So let's see, we've been talking since morning. How many times do you think we've spoken the word hybrid? 67. Hey, were you really counting? Smart. I'll take that. That's the right answer. Because there's nobody else. 82. Yeah, smart. So she's just learned the behavior very quickly. So 67, he says, and I am sure it is around that much. So I want to ask you, do you know how way back does hybrid go? Anybody who can, in Hindi we say, maro a tukka. How old is hybrid as a concept? Let's see the centuries and the years. Yes! Say that? 4 years, she says. Anybody else? Consciously means? Give me a year. Give me a year. Give me a decade. I'm okay with it. 2020. Okay, so we are saying around COVID, is it?
Yes.
So I'm going to give you a very pleasant surprise.
She's already answering.
No.
I think it is as old as...
So just guess. Just go a little radical. So let me give it. 1840 is the first time when a man called Isaac Pittman started a distance learning course. And I couldn't even imagine how he ran it. I mean, I was putting myself... And by the way, this Pittman learning is still around. It's 150 plus years old. And it believes in hybrid learning right from the start. The concept was that this learning course was about that people had to do their assignments on postcards and send it. And that's how they ran the course across the world. That was Pittman's vision. And here we are thinking that we are the smart ones who thought of hybrid 2020, our generation. Well, sorry guys, it was already there. We just built it up and beefed it up and suited it up, and here we are. Now let me ask you another fun one. So, sorry, how old do you think is, and yeah, so I just wanted to show you the history just for fun so that you believe me. So this is the timeline of the word hybrid. So what we think is so recent, and how will we do it, and how will our learners cope with it? It's been there since 1840. And they used to write their assignments on postcards and envelope, inland letters, which I saw. More than that, I've not seen. I wasn't born at this time, clearly. Now let me show you another thing. When do you think gamification was born? You know why I'm doing this? Because as an L&D, OD, or talent leader, if you do not understand this, anybody can win you over by saying, it's not for us. It's for these niche organizations. Our learners, yes, yes, sir. 1969, anybody else who has a wild guess? So it was born in 2002 when we started getting mobiles, really. And people, before that, we used to do video games. How many of you played those video games on those plastic gadgets? Yeah, that is games. And then we advanced it to video, and then we went on to the mobile, so 2002. And there came 2015, when we had so many mobile applications. Fitness app, this app, health. I used to follow on Health Fit app, health and fit care app. There were so many running apps, all this. And then they used to give me coupons. They used to give me points. I used to feel very happy. What was that, guys? What was that? Friends, it was gamification. Just that we were not learning from it. And yes, then came a time, also in Europe and the US, they were already doing it. What is Xbox? Thanks to Microsoft. What were all these things? Loyalty points, royal points, right? That's what we were doing all the time. And then, of course, in 2020, artificial intelligence started brewing its way out, and gamification merged with that. And we started understanding it differently, and we were in COVID, so the logical thing which schools did was go back to the basics and start teaching online, offline, synchronous, asynchronous, all these terms. And we thought it's the first time, but no, this was always there. It's just the channels, how we are doing it, multiplied. And the scope of the concept is large and deep. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it was quite an eye-opener for me as well. So I want to ask everybody in the audience, these are the 10 objections that I hear when I have sometime talked about gamification. And even I have sat on some of them personally. So I worked for Thermo Fisher Scientific, which is a biotech company, and then I had the privilege of working with Lenovo as the Asia Pacific talent leader. I only use gamification in Lenovo because I had 11 countries. It was a Asia Pac global opportunity, and I thought Japanese, Chinese are very fast at gadgets. And my Indians will catch up. New Zealanders are very fast. Aussies are very fast. And I thought, why not? Right? And I tried some of the basic skills with that organization. So I'll tell you my story later, but let's do an honest reflection first. These are some of the objectives which I have always heard. It's a fad. It's not going to last. It's a marketing thing. It disregards, does not link to the actual goals, doesn't link to the actual training needs. We won't have upskilling. The talent won't understand what they are supposed to do. So we have a lot of reasons. It does not align with our company brand or future. It's for these Googles and the Amazons, not for us. How many of you have said that? Hand on heart. We all have at some point. But the larger question is, and there is no proof that gamification will work. How will we get our training dashboards? How will I assess my talent pre-post? How do I get feedback? Can we get all this and more? How many of you say we can get this and more if we do gamification? Okay, how many of you have tried it? even if it's a small baby step you've taken towards it. Thank you. So there's someone who's tried it, that table. Yes, and you. You see such few hands? But you know what? That is the future. You cannot shy away from this anymore. You just have to figure out as an L&D leader. So I want to encourage every person who's passionate about L&D and talent management like I am. This is our time. See, this is our time. This is our season. We are a very special creed of professionals who's born in a time as this, that you are actually seeing learning different ways, all in your one lifetime. Do you agree? How many of you agree? How we went to school and learned, how we did training 5 years ago, what we are doing today, and what we will do tomorrow, all is going to be designed by. So we are a very special creed. And I completely take it as an honor and privilege to be born in a time as this. Because I don't think I've seen my parents go through this, what I am going through. So I thought I have maximum jobs on my CV, but nowadays I feel I have maximum concepts and stuff, and my CV just rampantly changes every 5 years. How many of you agree with me? And if it's not changing, what's happening? Yep, they want to say it, but. So if you want to keep your talent relevant, gamification is the way. Whether you use a mobile app to start with, which our ancient friends did, or you do something small, having said that, your talent has to move on platforms. Why do I say it? Because that is the future. I am not saying it. This is the same shifts. And I'm going to deal with it differently, which my friend John. Yes. John shared this very nice fancy picture, the red one, right? The red GIF from McKinsey. It's the same one. But I'm going to deal with each one of them, how they impact you and me. There are 10 shifts in the organizations which are happening today. First is, the CEO's problem is the increasing speed and strengthening the resilience. What do I mean by that? Any thoughts? What is your CEO telling you? So this was a survey which was done by McKinsey quite recently, and most of the CEOs said they really don't know what's on. Do you think any CEO in this room that you represent tells you, I know what I'm doing? So they are really, we used to say VUCA moments, but now they say Bani moments. And I just want to quickly tell you, second is the true hybrid work, which he talked about. It becomes our responsibility to see that we give them learning opportunities in this hybrid environment, where the employees feel that they are growing. So data shows, there is another survey which with government, Global World Summit and McKinsey did together. And they actually surveyed the MENA countries, where Asia Pacific is also there. And they said by as recent as another 5 years, 50% of the population, I don't want to say they'll lose jobs, they will need to be reskilled in the next 5 or 3 years. At least 40% of the jobs we do today can move to AI seamlessly. So if that's the scenario, I'm not saying something is going to be replaced, humans are not going to be replaced by machines. All I'm saying is the talent will need an upskilling like never before. And if you and I as leaders, talent experts, do not hold their hand now and design these learning architectures, then who will? The CEO can't do it himself. No way. So hybrid could mean many things. It could mean, are you giving me LMS, are you giving me micro-learning? Are you giving me assessment surveys? Are you giving me gamification? What are you giving me? And there are many employees who said their company, 40% said their company is not ready with the future capabilities in this survey. Also, making way for applied AI. 2018, we used 1.8 AI capabilities. And today, where we stand, it's rampantly, it's 3.8. So clearly, new rules of attraction, retention, attrition are emerging. 39% worldwide say 3 to 6 months they want to quit their job. They don't know why. So how are we going to see that part in terms of creating engagement in the learning space? Gamification is the answer. You can make it pretty fascinating if you want. And of course, closing the capability chasm. Skill gap is huge, as I just said. 40% AI can just take over. And 50% of the skills which are there today are not going to be relevant. They will need to be replaced with new skills. And if your team members or talents are not like that, then you know what's going to happen, right? You'll have to get new talent. Walking the talent tightrope, what does that mean? We all, talent management people, have succession plans. And it says internal fill rate. I'm going to internally fill my talents. But research shows that 20%, 30% of the internal recruits that you take are 8,000% less productive. That's what McKinsey has reported from the survey. Leadership that is self-aware and inspiring. Well, they do not find their leadership inspiring. They say our leaders don't know where we are going. Mostly, that's the... And mental health. So I'll just leave these, I think mostly I see the first two, three, the second, third, which we spoke, one and the previous two are relevant to our L&D space. So just news for you, 70% of the businesses belonging to Global 2000 list have already gamified. And this is Gartner. This is the Gartner data that they have adopted. And 60% they see is increase in employee engagement. They see 80% learners are more effective. They love it. And also 15.8, they see annual growth, computed annual growth of these organizations. Who would want to gamify? And just to see a little bit of more what's really happening as trends, can I have 5 minutes more? I'll wrap up in 5 minutes, sir. Okay? So these are some of the market trends. And I may not be able to detail them out for you, but you can take a snapshot. You want to take a picture, please feel welcomed. Knowledge is sharing, right? And sharing is caring, right? That we learned in school. So this is what, look at where India is, Asia Pac. We're pretty low in this space. But the expectation is Egypt will rise mostly in using AI tools for learning. Africa will. And India is already quite high where the benchmark is. It's not very low. But is it going to grow? It depends on all of us. Also, large enterprises will dominate the business sector. What do I mean by large? So small enterprises will go slow. Also, gamification will expand to most sectors. So retail and education will be saturated because we already see they use it for their customers and so many things, right, retail. And they will approach maturity and there will be some new sectors which would emerge out of this. Some of the workplace trends that I see is recruitment. So research shows that people who have adopted gamification in recruitment, they see they have at least 60% more effective recruits and talent and performance of them. Really. So the first company to do this was Domino Pizza. And also support human-centered design. We think about us as humans before we design it, and also marketing and sales activities, extensively used gamification, and provide more robust data and insights. So I'll tell you my story because I've just borrowed, and some of the social trends you can just go through, and I'll slowly keep gliding the slides. If you want to take pictures, just take. I have a whole lot there that I researched. because I was reading on the subject. So I remember that in Lenovo, I tried this. We did a training needs identification. So the problem with training needs TNI is that you have this whole lot of Dhobi list of skills that come. And what we did is that I grouped them. And then I went to every BU head and I asked them, which are the critical four? Which are the critical gaps? Which is like life and death for business, which will increase your business by 20%, 15% in your mind. Critical thinking, some of these critical skills they labeled for me. Influence without authority, because both organizations were matrix and people just don't move. They keep sending mails to each other. Typical problem of matrix organizations. The larger they get, the more complex the communication. And as we moved there, I remember I recruited a vendor to do the gaming, this gamification learning, which was Bangalore based. I'm in Mumbai and the vendor is there, but they gave me, and they work on a license fee. So every time I hook into I go into the training, I am one license fee, which could be $1,000, $500, whatever. So I buy this whole bucket of ours. How many of you know what I'm talking about? And then we just dispel them basis needs. What I really most liked about this format was I used to get a per employee report on not only the critical thinking skill, but the person's sub-skills as they were gaming. What were they doing? It was case scenarios which were built on our scenarios. So if Lenovo laptop is not working, the service engineer is not reached, the sales guy is not picking up the phone, what are the options you'll choose? So it's like a game you're playing. Really, it's like a game, like shooting games people play on AI. It's as real as that. The decisions they are making tells them assertiveness. Influence without authority is about assertiveness. It's about communication. It's about being able to tap the right person for the right thing. Which leader should I talk to? Having a strategy around that. And they got a fine report. My headache of giving bad feedback or constructive feedback was taken away. Because you only played and this is your report. Now go take it to your performance appraisal manager and show him. Or discuss with him how you want to improve. Also, we saw the post results, that when we would do a post result also, the third round used to be that we created that they should reflect. And the report was so amicably true. I don't think I had any employee out of those 700 or 1,000 that I covered in my first Josh of doing gamification who came back and said, my report is wrong. Not at all. And I picked up the most critical 8-9 skills and ran sessions. So if you've never done it, experiment with it. Because these are where the organizations are going. So technology trends are very strong moving towards VR, XR. So today we are not talking about, okay, I'm doing learning, and somebody talked about power skills. I'll say these are the critical skills with AI, which organizations are working on today. Leadership, managing others, and also they are largely based on developing social, economic, and cognitive behavior, which is also a realm of emotional intelligence. That is what we need in the future more and more. And gamification is based on neuroscience, which says the minute you start getting tokens, your various hormones start acting and exciting you, and motivation and engagement, and you start enjoying learning than saying, oh, I have to finish this module. On the LMS, my manager will keep sending me reminders. No more. So how you want to create these learning journeys is up to you according to your culture. Let me show you something interesting. So our goal is gamification. Social media is a big one. When we did in Lenovo, we also did a sales training academy, which was what I was leading. For every tower, we started giving them, when they passed those tower of services, in the assessment and in the completing the virtual trainings, and then again taking the assessment. And we did both skill and skill assessment also, and we also did product knowledge assessment. I just like that format, like a school college. When we did that, what we realized was there was 16% increase in their knowledge levels just in 3 months. Also, when they did it, we started giving them badges that you have passed. You've certified on Tower 1, certified, and we asked them to put it on LinkedIn. It really created that fun that our salespeople are growing. They are not a stagnant workforce. At an industry level, we got a lot of honor and respect, and our channel partners, which were 500 and more, started trusting us more, when we were doing that. So I'm just saying, let's look at a 5-way learning architecture. That's what we're moving to. Learning anywhere, learning anytime, learning anybody can do it. I don't need a legibility criteria. Any course I can take up. If I want to tomorrow take up an engineering course and I'm a commerce student, I should be allowed to because I need it now. Data science I have not studied ever. I should be allowed to do economics even if my degree doesn't need or my job doesn't need. Any platform. So if we are to make this, let me give you that this is already in one form we all have seen. How many of you know MOOCs? Done. Done. Done.
Thank you.
So
so
that
very
is the
much,
last
Ms.
one.
Verma.
And if you want to get in touch with us, just feel welcome to write to me and call me. We can talk more.
Please do.
Stay here.
Yes, please, ma'am.